here. White girl. And you can look, but don't touch. We're not really here.
I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I know.
Everything was a threat to me.
What made the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air officially end? Why did the show come to a stop after so many successful seasons? Was it because of changes behind the scenes or the actors moving on?
Okay. I didn't go ice skating. I went to a party.
Did anything serious happen between the cast members that led to the end of the show? Let's dive into what happened and why this popular TV show came to an end after its big success.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one of the most popular TV shows from the 90s. It starred Will Smith as a teenager from West Philadelphia who moves in with his rich relatives in the fancy neighborhood of Bel Air, California. The show was funny, but it also dealt with serious issues like family, race, and fitting in.
You don't think I want to get up out this bed and go catch that?
It's not gonna happen again, not to me.
Will, played by Will Smith, was not just a regular teenager. He was street smart, funny, and a bit of a troublemaker. When he got into a fight in his hometown, his mom decided it was time for a change. She sent him to live with his rich aunt and uncle, who were successful but very different from the world Will was used to.
I get a little barbecue sauce. Dude tried to play me down there. You know, they give you the same amount whether you get 6 or 16.
At the house in Bel Air, Will meets his new family. Uncle Phil, a serious but loving judge. Aunt Vivian, a strong and caring woman. Carlton, Will's cousin, who is the complete opposite of Will. And Hillary, the ditzy older cousin. The family's different personalities brought lots of laughs, but also some touching moments. One of the main reasons the show was so popular was Will's ability to make people laugh, while also teaching important lessons. He showed how people from different backgrounds could still care for each other and work through their differences. The show was also groundbreaking because it featured a mostly black cast, which was rare at the time.
Big wheels keep on turning, raspberry keeps on burning.
But not everything behind the scenes was as fun as it looked on screen. One of the biggest stories involves Janet Hubert, who played the original Aunt Viv. Janet Hubert was on the show for the first 3 seasons, playing the tough but loving mother of Will. But when season 4 started, fans noticed something strange. Aunt Viv was suddenly played by someone else, Daphne Maxwell Reid. This change was not explained at the time, and it led to many people wondering what happened. Janet Hubert later revealed that she left the show because of a toxic working environment. She pointed out that Will Smith had a lot to do with her departure. She said that her relationship with Will became very difficult, and this made her feel unappreciated. She even claimed that after leaving the show, she was blacklisted from Hollywood and struggled to find work.
Those things never happened. She never left the set. I never left the set. We got along great. I think he was young, and he was inexperienced, and I think he simply had to win.
The situation between Janet Hubert and Will Smith got worse over time. Years after The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ended, Hubert posted a video in which she publicly blamed Will for her departure. She also criticized Jada Pinkett Smith's call to boycott the Oscars, saying it wasn't sincere. Instead, it turned into a public attack on Will. Will Smith, on the other hand, defended himself by saying that Hubert was difficult to work with. He mentioned that she had a problem with him getting the lead role, even though he was just starting his career. Will said that Janet Hubert was upset because she thought she deserved more attention. He also said she was upset that he was getting so much success so quickly. In a radio interview, he explained that Hubert's anger towards him went back even before the show. However, Janet Hubert's side of the story is much different. She has said many times that she felt mistreated by Will and others on the show. She believed her departure was planned from the start, and she has never forgiven Will for the way he treated her. In an interview years later, she claimed that the lies spread about her career and the show ruined her life.
And I went back to them in 2009 and I said, please, I need you to clear my name.
You talked to him directly?
I spoke to JL when my dad died and my brother died.
Legally, I'm not allowed to talk about it. But hey. Why not?
the end of the day, it was crazy.
Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, made some interesting comments about his time on the show during a stand-up comedy set in 2009. He talked about almost being fired from the show and shared a funny but serious story about one of his co-stars. He said that everyone he worked with was great, except for one person. He jokingly said, "First mom, not so much." This comment got boos and hisses from the crowd. He went on to explain that legally he wasn't supposed to talk about it, but decided to anyway. He said that the woman who played Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, had some serious issues. She went nuts, he said. Ribeiro explained that Aunt Viv's behavior became so difficult that it was hard for everyone to work with her. By the second season of the show, it got to the point where the cast felt like something needed to be done. They were all very close and treated each other like family, but Hubert's actions were ruining that. Eventually, she was fired from the show, and Daphne Maxwell Reid was brought in as the new Aunt Viv. Ribeiro said they all loved Daphne, and they moved on. However, this stand-up routine took a serious turn. Some people in the crowd seemed to take offense, especially fans of the original Aunt Viv. Ribeiro acknowledged that Hubert was a talented actress and that she was funny, but he also called her behavior cuckoo, trying to lighten the situation with humor.
Basically, at the end of the day, it was crazy.
In 2010, Hubert shared her side of the story in an interview with Black America Web. She recalled a time when Will Smith, who played the main character, made "you're so black" jokes in front of the audience. These jokes were hurtful, and Hubert said she stood up to him and told him how disrespectful it was. The audience's reaction showed that they didn't understand how hurtful the jokes were, and she explained that Will didn't realize how damaging his words were to women like her. She mentioned a joke Will made, saying, "Yo mama's so black, when she looks at her shoes, she thinks she's looking in the mirror." Hubert said she was offended by these jokes. The drama between Will Smith and Aunt Viv resurfaced in 2011 when Will posted a Fresh Prince cast photo that didn't include Hubert. When asked about a possible reunion, Hubert said there would never be one unless Will apologized. She called Will an egomaniac and said that he hadn't grown up. Hubert felt that Will didn't stand up for her or the rest of the cast when it was time to negotiate a pay raise, something she felt other successful shows like Friends got to do. But in 2013, Hubert seemed to soften her stance on a Fresh Prince reunion. She said that the cast had been successful and that she had been a key part of the show. She felt valuable, but admitted that in Hollywood, it's easy to feel unappreciated. When asked about the rumors of a feud with Will and Alfonso, Hubert said that Will probably felt he needed to say things that weren't true about her because the audience was on her side at the time. She also mentioned that Alfonso Ribeiro had told some lies, but she claimed she had proof that many of those things weren't true. Hubert also shared that she had tried to talk to Will and suggested they heal their relationship. She told him that he had said things that weren't true and that she had said things she regretted. But she emphasized that Will should take responsibility for his actions, especially when it came to a statement made about her on TMZ after her mother passed away. Hubert said she was tired of being hurt by the media and wished Will would apologize for everything that had happened. Janet made a splash in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion on HBO Max in November 2020, and it was huge. She and Will Smith finally sat down and talked it out for the first time since she left the show. Major tea was spilled. Janet opened up about her rough personal life, including an abusive marriage, and cleared up those firing rumors. Turns out she was offered a bad deal for season 4 and decided to bounce.
I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
You
I know. I know.
Everything was a threat to me.
Will admitted he wasn't exactly Mr. Sensitivity back in the day. He said he was young and immature, totally clueless about what Hubert was dealing with. Now that he's a dad, he gets it and wishes he had handled things differently.
The person I want to be is someone who protects you not someone that unleashes dogs on you.
He apologized, and they seemed to squash the beef. After their heart-to-heart, Janet joined the rest of the cast for the reunion.
Could talk to Uncle Phil about, sliding me into his will.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ended after 6 seasons. But why did it end? Was the show running out of ideas? Did Will Smith want to try something new? According to Will Smith, the end of the show wasn't just because it had run its course, but because he made a tough decision about his future. In his memoir, Will explained that the show jumped the shark in Season 5, Episode 15. This was the episode where Will gets shot and Carlton starts carrying a gun.
Brother gets shot, he get a little emotional. Now get over here and give me some love.
Will said this moment was when the show started to feel a bit ridiculous and far from its early charm. He also realized that he had bigger dreams and wanted to try acting in movies.
Freeze! LAPD, freeze!
Will was at a crossroads. He loved the show and the cast, but he knew it was time to take the next step in his career. To help him decide what to do, Will turned to someone he looked up to, an actor named John Amos. You might remember John Amos from the show Good Times. He was a guest star on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Will admired him. John Amos gave Will some advice that changed everything. He warned Will about the way Hollywood treats TV stars. Amos had been fired from Good Times years before, and his character was killed off after a contract dispute. He told Will that Hollywood didn't care about TV stars' careers or their families. He said, "None of these execs or producers or business people give a S about your family." He added that it was Will's job to protect his hard work and make sure he left the show with dignity. Will said this advice hit him hard. He felt bad about how John Amos was treated on Good Times and didn't want the same thing to happen to him or the cast of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will felt it was important to end the show while it was still great and before it went downhill. So after talking to the cast, Will made the decision. Season 6 would be the last season of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He told the cast they had a year to plan for the end and promised them they would finish the show with style and grace. Will said he made this decision because he didn't want anyone to feel used or unimportant like John Amos had. The whole S was undignified, Smith wrote in his memoir. I even sensed John's pain that maybe he had failed his TV family. But while Smith chose to step away from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as a result, he wasn't gone from the franchise for good. In February 2022, Peacock premiered a new spin-off, Bel-Air, starring Jabari Banks, with Smith serving as an executive producer. In 2020, a well-known DJ and producer, Jeffrey A. Towns, who is better known as DJ Jazzy Jeff, faced allegations of sexual harassment. These accusations became part of the larger Me Too movement, which was a time when many people spoke out about being mistreated or harassed in the workplace. DJ Jazzy Jeff is famous for his music career, especially as part of the duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, with actor Will Smith. They became well known in the late 1980s and early 1990s for their fun rap songs like Summertime and their work on the hit TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Jazzy Jeff was always seen as a talented and fun-loving DJ, known for his creative skills and his friendly personality.
Mr. Jazz.
However, the allegations that came up in 2020 changed how some people saw him. The accusations were not related to his time working with Will Smith or his famous role on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they still affected his public image. The number sign Me Too movement encouraged people to speak out about their experiences with sexual harassment and abuse. Many people, especially women, started sharing their stories about what had happened to them, hoping to bring more awareness and change. When Jazzy Jeff was accused, it shocked many of his fans, because he was someone who had built a good reputation over the years. The accusations were serious, but it's important to note that Jazzy Jeff denied all the claims. He made it clear that he did not agree with what was being said about him. Even though the accusations weren't connected to his work on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they still made people question his character. For someone like Jazzy Jeff, who had a career based on trust and respect in the music world, these kinds of allegations could hurt his legacy. His reputation had been built on positive music, good vibes, and being part of a successful partnership with Will Smith. But with these accusations, some people were forced to think about whether they still saw him in the same way.
You don't think I want to get up out this bed and go catch that?
It's not gonna happen again, not to me.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is often praised for its positive portrayal of a black family. But over the years, some critics have raised concerns about how it shows black life, whether it truly represents the struggles many black Americans face. While it shows a successful black family, the show doesn't really highlight the everyday struggles that many black people face, like poverty, racism, or systemic inequality. Because of this, some people feel the show leans more towards escapism, offering a fantasy life rather than focusing on the real-life challenges that are part of the black experience.
I understand that you're scared, man. But the world can be a scary place.
On the other hand, The Fresh Prince had a huge impact on both hip-hop culture and black television. Many people see it as a turning point for black representation on TV. The show brought hip-hop into the mainstream, and Will Smith's character made the genre more widely accepted. The Fresh Prince helped show that black culture could be both entertaining and successful. It blended comedy with deeper moments about family, identity, and belonging. Professor Andrew Horton explains that Will Smith's success on the show helped him become a big name in Hollywood. The show took the growing popularity of hip-hop and made it part of the American mainstream. In a way, the show helped predict the rise of hip-hop in popular culture, showing how black culture could be embraced on a national level. Author Willie Tolliver also talks about the impact of the show. He says that by placing Will in an affluent, wealthy environment, the show changed how people viewed black identity. Will's character moves from a working-class neighborhood to a rich neighborhood, which shows that black people, too, can have success and social mobility. This was an important shift in how black people were represented on TV. It showed that black men didn't have to be stuck in one role or limited by society's expectations. It was groundbreaking in many ways, but it also left room for conversation about what it means to represent black life fully. While the show focused on the good side of success, it didn't always deal with the challenges that many black people face.
What did you do?
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
Now let's change gears and look at some behind-the-scenes facts that you were not aware of. Before he became president, Donald Trump was known for many things, including his unusual habits and flashy lifestyle. One of his appearances was in the show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but his time on set was far from smooth. In the episode titled For Sale by Owner, Trump played a guest role. According to a crew member who spoke to Newsweek, Trump was not an easy person to work with during filming. The crew member revealed that Trump was unhappy with his script. He complained to the show's executive producer, Gary H. Miller, saying his lines weren't funny enough. Miller, confident in his work, tried to reassure Trump by saying, "Trust me, you'll get a laugh." Despite this encouragement, Trump remained upset. He reportedly threw the script pages onto the floor in frustration. This scene caused quite a stir among the crew. Trump's then-wife, Marla Maples, was seen picking up the scattered pages. When a crew member offered to help her, she replied, "I got them. I'm so sorry." The crew member who witnessed the incident described Trump's behavior as rude and disrespectful. They said, "The way he did it was terrible." This encounter left a strong impression on those who were there, highlighting the challenges of working with Trump during his brief acting career.
Let's go down the street. I brought cash. It's quicker.
It's interesting to see how Trump's attitude during this filming experience adds to the stories about him. His time on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is just one of many examples that show his complex personality. While many people remember him for his role in politics, moments like this remind us of his past in Hollywood.
Okay. I didn't go ice skating. I went to a party.
Tatyana Ali, best known for playing the sweet and shy Ashley Banks, had one of her most awkward moments on set during a very important part of her life, her first real kiss. What was supposed to be a sweet and private moment for her quickly became a moment she wished she could forget, all thanks to her co-stars and the pressure of being in front of the cameras. In a 2018 interview with Us Weekly, Tatyana Ali shared how this special moment went from bad to worse. Imagine this. You're about to have your first kiss. And instead of it being a quiet, personal moment, you're surrounded by huge cameras, and your co-stars are watching your every move.
I just remember everybody, people that were not involved in the scene at all, coming to set that afternoon to see.
Oh no!
And I just remember Karen Parsons, who played Hillary Banks, Karen, Alfonso, just like.
Tatyana said that her co-stars, Alfonso Ribeiro and Karen Parsons, who played her on-screen siblings Carlton and Hillary Banks, decided to show up on set that day. Their presence made things even more nerve-wracking. They weren't supposed to be there, and Tatyana wasn't expecting them to watch such an intimate scene. Tatyana recalled how she felt during that moment, saying, "I just remember Alfonso and Corinne standing there with the cameras. And on sitcoms, the cameras are like huge cameras. I just remember them looking behind the camera. Who has their first kiss like that?" At that moment, Tatyana felt like she wanted to disappear. She even said, "I wanted to die."
I just remember them like looking behind the camera, like. And now it's like a fun, you know.
Sure, now it's funny.
I mean, who has a first kiss like that?
Right.
At the time, I wanted to kill him.
But over time, she was able to move on from that embarrassing experience. By 2013, Tatyana was more open about discussing relationships and her personal experiences. In an interview with HuffPost, she joked about how her views on things like relationships had changed over the years. She humorously mentioned that she considers certain things, like one-night stands, to be guilty pleasures. She even compared it to her love for bread pudding, joking, "Who doesn't love bread pudding?" Even though her first on-set kiss was a disaster, Tatyana Ali grew from the experience. Over the years, she has become more comfortable in her own skin and learned to laugh about the awkward moments in life. As we look back on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, its legacy extends far beyond its 6-season run. The show's influence on television and popular culture is profound, setting a precedent for how sitcoms could tackle social issues with humor and heart. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a show that defined a generation, broke barriers, and left an enduring legacy in the world of television. From the controversies and challenges behind the scenes to the cultural impact in the cast's post-show successes, the story of this iconic series is a tapestry of triumphs, transitions, and timeless appeal. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.